Hello and welcome back to the Irresistible Podcast. This is the home of beautiful stories from ordinary people telling ordinary stories and doing extraordinary things. With me today, we get to experience greatness, and I will read you something. Sometimes life will push you to the edge and everything in you will whisper, "This is the end." But hold on, because what feels like a finish line might just be the starting point of your greatest chapter. Keep walking, keep hoping, keep believing. The end is often just the beginning in disguise. And the great man who said those words is right here, Professor Mokaya Omari Edwin.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, please?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy that I found myself on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. It's a kind of dream come true.
Dream come true.
Yes, I'm so
Did you hear,
proud.
guys? We're great already.
Yes,
We're
yes.
great. I am so glad you get to be here.
Yes.
So I've wanted to talk to you on a personal basis.
Yes.
I've wanted to meet you. So this is the first time we're meeting.
Yes.
But I am here to talk about your story to greatness.
Yes.
And greatness is a never-ending discussion. So
Yes.
tell us, who is Mokaya?
Well, first, that's a good question, and let me repeat what I just said. I'm so happy to be here. When we were talking on phone, and he just told me about the perspectives of us being here,
Yeah.
I said, man, I'm just going to create some little time and show up.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for honoring our invite.
Thank you. So my name is Prof Mokaya Umari Edwin. I'm a Kenyan, born and raised in the Gusii Highlands.
Okay.
But currently I'm staying and working in Alain as a teacher. So I do write. I'm an author. I'm a motivational speaker. And a life coach, I could say. So stay tuned. The best is yet to come.
The
Thank
best is yet to come. Thank you so much for that.
you.
Also, I want to appreciate you because Alain is not Dubai and we are seated in Dubai.
Thank you.
So that takes a whole lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
We do not take it for granted.
Yeah.
I promise you, when we're holding the Grammys and the Emmys and all those awards, we'll be saying thank you for the guest and we will definitely mention you. We hope that you'll also be winning
Amazing.
your awards.
We will get there. We'll get there someday.
Yes. So here we are, and we're talking about living in the UAE,
Yes.
working in the UAE, a story that many people have tried.
Yes.
Some have succeeded, some have failed. And I would talk about you as one of the people who have succeeded.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how long you've been in Dubai, what you've done to get yourself where you are right now.
Okay, thank you. I haven't been here for so long. I just came here in 2022, close to the end of 2022, actually.
Okay.
Just close to October 2022.
Almost the same
yeah.
time.
So we just came here around the same time.
Yeah.
When a 3 months visa was still
A
working.
thing.
Yes, a thing. So I don't think it's a longer thing. So I can basically say that I've been here for 2 years. That's what I can say. Maybe the whole of 2023 and 2024. And maybe that's the beginning of 2025. I could simply just basically say maybe like I've been here for 2 solid years.
So you're literally thriving.
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
doing things that people haven't done who have been here way too long.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that compliment. It's a compliment that I actually appreciate.
I'm proud of you. You've been saying you're proud of me. Now this is my turn to say I'm proud of you.
I said in return, I'm so proud of you, what you're doing, and for having this mind and idea of having this podcast to
Yeah.
bring people on board, actually.
Yeah.
It is something so great when people get to come together, they share their stories, because somebody can be touched in different ways. Some
Yes.
people might be going through maybe some hardship, and maybe they might be thinking like, where do you get to somebody who can talk to me in a way that my heart can be loosened?
Yeah.
So it was something so good that you did. So back to what you asked, I've been here for about 2 years, and I'm currently a teacher and an author. Have been writing, not one book, not 2 books,
Not three.
not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7. So I'm still writing. As long as my mind still remains sane, I'll just keep on motivating the world. And
What would you
telling the
say
world.
to the people who are saying reading is dead, books are not important? What do you say to them as an author of 7 whole
Okay,
books?
this is what I like to tell the world. You know, long after you die, because absolutely all of us will rest someday, actually. If you're an author or if you're reading books, actually, you are staying ahead of everybody. Reading, actually, all those people who can speak confidently, all those people who can lead and guide when the rest of us can listen, are the people who have actually read ahead of us. Remember, all the knowledge is already in place and is stored in books.
Yeah.
So for someone to be seen maybe as a great maybe poet, maybe they must have read about poetry. For somebody to be maybe seen as somebody who uses a lot of vocabulary, they must have read the vocabulary somewhere. So for you to get to stay ahead of the rest, you gotta read books. And now about being an author, actually, you will live beyond the grave. And
You
actually,
immortalize yourself.
You immortalize yourself, because even long after you've
Yeah,
died, people
yeah.
will still be reading about your work.
True.
So, for example, recently we have sad news about the passing of the great legend, Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o. He's a great man. Actually, he's my mentor, actually. I kept reading all his novels when I was in school, in high school,
Yeah.
read The River Between and
The
all those
River
kind of stuff.
Between.
Yeah. The man has rested, but he still
words.
speaks beyond the grave.
It speaks louder,
exactly. He's
yeah.
still, no, he's among those few guys who are still speaking aloud right from the grave, actually.
Yeah.
We can just read, open the books and just get to read what he's been writing about. And even it's going to take maybe 20 years from today, even when he's going to be in the grave for 20 years, he will still be speaking aloud.
We'll still talk
So,
about Ngugi.
yeah, also, I told myself, like, one day I will rest. But how do I just keep on even inspiring the world, even in my absence? What do
Still
we have to do?
speaking even when you're silent.
I love to scribble something in books.
That's really
I know
beautiful.
the books will stay here even long after I've gone.
Yeah.
I know there are some people who can even just get to read my books even without knowing who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something I've always just wanted to do, actually, even to speak to somebody who doesn't know me, to
Yeah.
speak to somebody in silence,
Yeah.
to speak to somebody even when I cannot just maybe up close with them.
Yeah.
That has been my dream, and that's what has brought us
That's
here.
good. I
Yeah.
also think about seasons when
Yes.
it comes to, I've written different pieces in different seasons
Wow,
of my
wow,
life.
wow.
Like when I was maybe 17 years
Yes,
old,
yes.
my mind was thinking different from
Yes.
when now I am 29 years old.
yes.
So you see that I like what books or pieces of writing do for us.
Yes.
When I look back, I see how naive and
Yeah, you
innocent
are,
I
exactly.
was. And then I know it sounds silly, but it's also giving someone a guide to life, because when they're 17 and they're feeling that, and then you wrote it when you're 17, it makes them feel like, oh, okay.
Man, that's so great. I mean, you just get to evaluate yourself. Just
Yeah.
looking back at what you wrote in your 17, it just reminds you, oh, maybe this is what I was thinking about. And again, writing can even just remind you about different seasons, as you've said. For example, nobody can talk about COVID so much about now, but somebody who wrote maybe during the COVID time, they were just talking about COVID. And actually, it's something that can remind us, there might be no another way in which you can remember a season, for example, the COVID season, unless somebody wrote something
And you know,
about
the
that right now.
emotions were real then.
Exactly,
Right now we're
exactly.
fetching. We're like, oh my God.
man.
But then
Right.
it was real. So yeah, writing through that. And also I feel like I talked to you about like speed
Yes.
when it comes to doing things. So sometimes I remember having a conversation with someone and they were telling me, you're too young to write a book.
Yes.
And I remember, I wish I did write a book then, because the truth is that your emotions are raw and real then.
Exactly.
And they connect with somebody out there, because I feel like writing,
That's it.
preaching, all those things are messages from God
Exactly.
to people. And every time we block our calling, we're blocking someone else's blessing, because there's
Exactly.
someone who needs to hear that message
Exactly.
right in this very moment, when you're thinking, I'm not ready, when you're thinking, I can't do this now. So what are the things that you've learned about not being ready and going anyway? Because that's something that you've talked about in your books.
Okay. First, as you've said, you see, most of the time, writings maybe you talk about something so specific, actually. Most of the time when you're writing, there's something that is going on in your mind. For example, there's one of the books that I just read that says not yet uhuru, not yet uhuru. I mean, that was just talking about maybe
Not yet
something
independence.
yeah, not yet independence. Maybe somebody was just trying to look at maybe the injustices that were happening just beyond the time when Kenya got its independence.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just trying to address something. Maybe there could be some other time when your idea might be a little bit invalid. So if you have something you want to do right now, if there's something that keeps on just knocking in your mind, actually, you better do it right now.
Yeah.
Because that could be the specific time when you need to speak to somebody.
Yeah.
That could be the specific time when that thing might make sense in some context.
Yeah.
And actually, remember when we were just coming here, you told me sometimes there is an inner voice that keeps on speaking unto us.
Yeah.
Even the devil, or even just God can speak unto us in our spirits and in our minds, actually. there could be a reason as to why God tells you write about
Do
something.
this, yeah.
There could be somebody who might just want to read your work and their life gets to be
It
saved.
changed.
Actually,
It's
it
changed.
changed them.
Yeah.
Literally, they can even just save their life. Maybe somebody wanna take a rope and maybe hang themselves. God forbid, maybe.
Yeah.
And then
Those are
they
real
just-
things happening.
Those things do happen.
They
actually.
do happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then maybe they read the statement they just read, that what seems like the end could be a
Just the
beginning. A
beginning.
beginning just in disguise.
Exactly.
Yeah. The end could be just the beginning. When
beginning.
you told, like, for example, I've just got to my end, actually. This is my extreme level. If somebody reads that, they can just get to know, oh my God, maybe some other greatness
There's something
is
that could
hidden.
happen and save me,
Yes. So, for example, if you hid, or for example, if you delayed such a message, maybe you could have
Saved a life.
maybe you could have saved
You
a
could have
life.
literally saved
so
a life.
if there's
Yeah.
something you've always just wanted to do it now. Start now.
And it doesn't
Start
even
now.
have to be serious. I keep on
Exactly.
telling you I'm an unserious person. Even just making a joke
Yes.
literally could just make somebody laugh
Exactly.
and just make their day.
Exactly.
I usually have a personal goal.
Yeah.
Every single day I want to make sure that I make one person happy.
Yes.
Like just one person to smile. And it narrowed down to just telling someone, you look good today. And you should see people light up. Like
Exactly.
literally it lights people's lives up.
Yeah.
So I want to go on a lighter note. What is one thing that you have done or somebody has done for you that has warmed your heart in the last 3 days?
I think I could say someone wrote me a very beautiful message, actually. There's an uncle of mine. His name is Isaiah Morias.
Okay.
We're just trying to share about some perspectives. And actually, he was here about a month or 2 months ago, and actually signed him a copy of a copy of my book. And then he was reading it as he was traveling back to the US. He stays in the US, and he told me, I'm going to be traveling for about 17 hours, so I just need something to be reading. So he sent me a message back and told me, I just read the words from your book that I exactly needed to hear, especially when I was traveling. He told me, son, keep going and keep doing what you're doing.
So
That's what he
beautiful.
called me. So I just felt like,
That's
every
very
day-
validating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I could say, for example, even when I was just writing, just the different pieces of writing that I do write, maybe I might not be having maybe somebody specific I'm aiming, but I know there's probably somebody. And now I'm so happy when maybe somebody just comes out and tells me, yeah, Prof, when I read your words or when I listened to your story, I got inspired. So the message that my uncle sent me, an affirmation and telling me that I should just keep doing what I'm doing, it honestly lit my heart.
I love that.
yes.
Now, leading that,
Yes.
June is Men's Mental Health
Yes,
Month.
yes.
And you just talked about two men
Yes.
giving each other compliments.
Yes.
Things that people really frown about.
Yes.
And we're supposed to be macho and strong and not talk about our emotions.
Yes.
But you literally said something. When you said message, I was waiting, a girl or a woman. But it's a man expressing his emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have just read and it's like, oh, okay, bro. But he said, keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
And that has
Exactly.
stayed with you. It has
Exactly.
left a mark. So
Exactly.
talk about mental health from a perspective of a man. Because I keep on shouting, please, men, talk. But then I would never be a man. I can never be a man.
Yes,
and I can
sure.
never talk of issues
Yes.
when it about men
Yes.
in authenticity,
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
But you are here.
Yes.
You're writing.
Yes.
You're talking about people, helping people.
Yes.
And mental health is a big part of that.
Yes.
So what do you say to men and what is your perspective about mental health?
One thing I would like to say as a way of answering this question, of the first information that I just want to pass to somebody there, it could be anybody, it could be a man or it could be even just a lady who's just listening to this. It's not about what happens to you, but what you do about it. Doesn't matter what you face,
Okay.
but what you do about what you're facing.
Okay.
For example, you might lose your loved one. Some people might crash literally, they might never maybe recover out of that. Some people can be mentally tortured out of that.
Yeah.
And some people can easily get over it. So basically what happens in life, the most important part of it is not what has happened, but what you want to do about it.
Yeah.
So mostly for men, they just choose silence. They choose to be themselves. Of course, I'm kind of a victim actually. So I'm just speaking from experience. Personally, when I'm just going through something, I just feel like, man, I shouldn't even just call. Nobody should even just call me. I mean, I should even
Has that been
go
working?
silent. Just put my
Has that
phone
been
on.
working?
Yeah. Okay, I mean, maybe it hasn't been working perfectly, so I've just mastered something else to work on. Actually,
Okay,
yeah.
tell us, what have you
So,
mastered?
actually, there is beauty in sharing your issue with somebody, especially somebody you feel like this is a trustable person. Do you know that when you share your problem or your issue with somebody, especially somebody you trust, of course, even without them saying anything, just the whole process of you from the first, maybe from the first minute to the 50th minute of you to explain the same story,
Yeah.
you could be relieved.
It feels
actually.
lighter.
You feel
It feels
like you
lighter.
feel it will be
Yes,
lighter.
yes.
So what I could just like to tell men, so most of us of actually me being a victim, we just like men just keeping with our problems, feeling like we just need some circulation, we just need our time alone, we just need to be outside the world, away from the internet. Actually, we just need some time alone.
Yeah.
While that might work for a short time, it is not maybe
Sustainable.
sustainable. That's
It
what
is
somebody you
not,
can
yeah.
just do. Find somebody you can trust, your brother, a close friend, an uncle, a father. Just talk to them. Hey, man, this is what I'm going through. Maybe, for example, for us, we are teachers, right?
Yeah.
When you go to school, you might just come back with some frustration. Maybe
Yeah.
you just come and you encounter something. If you keep with it, if you just keep quiet with it, maybe it might hurt you. But just coming and telling, hey, please, you know what, man, when I was in school, this and this happened.
Students can be bullies.
Yeah, exactly. So
Students can be bullies.
Literally.
Yo.
Yeah, they can just feel like you're passing, right?
Did you just say
Yeah.
that to me?
Exactly.
And-
Okay. Leave even that. Do you know what can happen? Maybe you can just handle a student maybe in the softest way possible, but maybe they might report in a different way to the parent.
Right?
And maybe now the parent might call you, or maybe might
Right?
just call the school, maybe just talking about,
Boy.
this is what happened. So I mean that one.
I think that's a whole other episode.
Yeah,
on its own. It's
exactly. We should just talk about
but
that.
we could probably lose our jobs. So this
Exactly. No.
So
Let's not talk about that anyway. So in simple terms, okay, just schools anywhere, for example, you can just leave school, maybe just leave the place a little bit frustrated. You just get home and this thing is weighing you down.
man.
So instead of just keeping quiet about it, because maybe the next time a similar thing happens, it does what we call accumulation.
Yeah.
So, but if you share the first episode with somebody else,
It's gone.
Maybe if something else comes, it just come maybe as a new, maybe as a fresh thing.
Yeah.
But
then
if you
it
did
piles.
share, if you just
Yeah.
keep piling it, you might burst. Maybe you might just lead.
Oh, you would definitely burst. And
Exactly.
And the truth is, that's why they say about bleeding. Hurt people hurt people.
Exactly.
So you just go around bleeding on people.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
it shows in relationships. It shows in. I like that. I like that you answered that question in different layers, in different tiers. Like, this is what I used to do.
Yes.
This is how I know that it hasn't worked. And this is what I'm doing.
Exactly.
And I'm emphasizing and breaking it down so that you can hear it from a perspective of a man.
Yes.
And then you also grow into that.
Yeah.
Also, now moving on to the next thing, I think that we're speaking from a place of privilege.
Yes.
We are teachers in
Yes.
Dubai.
Yes.
I will let that sink.
Yes.
We are
Teachers
teachers
in
in
Dubai.
Dubai.
Yes.
Well, in the UAE,
Yeah.
he teaches in Abu Dhabi, I teach in Dubai.
Dubai.
However, we are teachers in Dubai.
Yes.
I want you to tell us how that was possible.
Well, I think I've been answering this question and I'll never get tired answering. It's a good question because I know out there are teachers already in Dubai who are yet to end in school, or
Yeah.
teachers maybe might be listening from outside this country, from
Yeah.
diaspora, and they might be thinking, how do I get to UAE to get to teach?
Yeah.
So, of course, to teach here, you must have, of course, a degree in education. That is a prerequisite. Number two, your papers or your degrees must be attested. I don't know that you should maybe take some different time to talk about attestation, or maybe, but let me just talk about attestation. Maybe your papers gotta be attested, and yeah, basically that's what you need. And then you need also just to be on the ground, then moving around to see if you can just be able to get something. But most probably you will get, because we are living testimonies. My sis Praise is still here, and she's a testimony, of course.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Prof is still here. It works. And that's why we are here, just to speak out of experience. So basically what I did, you got to have the qualification. First of all, you need to have a degree in education, or if you don't have a degree in education, you have a degree in something else, you need to have what we call a PhD, a postgraduate diploma in education.
Yeah.
Then your paper should be attested. Then there are maybe some other minor prerequisites, like, for example, maybe doing IELTS, depending on the school where you're going.
Depending on that school.
But the main things are the first that I talked about. Your paper's gotta be attested, and should have either degree in education or a degree in something else, and a PhD, a postgraduate diploma. Yes.
Okay, so I know people
Yes.
who work in schools
Yes.
with the same degrees,
Yes.
with the same attestation,
Yes.
and this is what is leading to the question.
Yes.
But they are working as cleaners.
Yes.
They have a degree in education.
Yes.
They come from different countries,
Yes.
Kenya, Cameroon,
Yes.
Nigeria.
Yes.
But they are not in the classroom teaching.
yes,
And
yes.
I will tell you the story I was told when I landed here.
Yes.
Kenyans don't become teachers.
Yes.
I've heard that. I don't know if you heard that story.
I was told the same thing too, but maybe
Yeah.
now we have a different perspective right
Yes.
now. Yeah,
So
yeah.
now I want to ask you, do you see how your perspective, how your mindset, how your willingness to not give up on what you believe is possible can work for you or against you? So tell us about mindset, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One thing that I've always held in myself, actually, and people can be a testimony because I've taught in different places. I've taught in Kenya, different schools, and I know I could be addressing my students. I mean, I'm just one of those people who never give up. I never snooze, and I'm never...
Because when you snooze, you?
Yeah, you lose. You snooze, you lose. Thank you
you
for that.
lose.
Yes. That's my
Yeah.
status in WhatsApp. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you snooze, you lose. So I've always believed in even doing something that everybody just keeps on discouraging about. You can do it. Doesn't matter maybe what people just don't talk about it. So one thing I'd just like to tell anybody who's just listen to these: keep your dreams valid and keep pursuing them.
Yeah.
So if you believe that you're a teacher, you got the qualifications, it doesn't matter what you're doing right now, and it doesn't matter what you made first or what you're doing currently.
Yeah.
The dream should be valid. However, at the same time, nobody might look, I mean, people might not just come looking for you, that just come as a teacher. So every day, even when you're just doing your work as a cleaner, just keep on making the applications to schools as a teacher. So you can be doing what you're doing, but never let your dream run dry.
Yeah.
Just keep pursuing your dream every single day. Never ever forsake your CV for a teacher, and keep dropping those emails to schools. Doesn't matter. Maybe some people might be doing it. Maybe I know somebody told me, and maybe that somebody might be sitting here with me. Maybe there's a time she applied maybe to about 300 places, and she didn't maybe get any response from those. Okay, just continue. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
You have to keep on going.
Maybe you can be wrong 400 times.
It just needs one yes. It literally just needs
to
one
undo
yes.
all the 400 wrongs. Actually.
Yeah.
You don't need to be right 400 times
Because
again.
nobody talks about, everyone will say, even when your parents hear,
Yes.
my daughter is working in Dubai.
Yes.
She got a job.
Yes.
It's just one job.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need two offer letters. You only need one offer letter.
On one. And
Nobody
then
talks
the
about
whole
the
story just changes.
Nobody talks about the 400
Yes,
offer
yes,
letters.
yes.
Nobody talks about, I came during summer.
Yes.
So I was dropping CVs.
It was very hectic, I can just tell you.
Yes,
Moving around,
yes.
moving in schools, and just trying to drop those things. You go to a place, your whole, maybe your clothes are soaked in sweat. But
And
we
they're
still did
wondering,
it.
you want to be a teacher?
Exactly.
In our big school?
Yeah, exactly. You know, you just
Are you
show up in a very
serious?
big school, and you're soaked in full sweat. And maybe people are wondering, like, you can't be serious.
You really can.
But we never give up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
you're doing. It doesn't matter what is your position right now. You could be a security person. You could be a cleaner. You could be a hostess. You could be a waitress at this moment.
Yeah.
But remember where your dream needs to be. Remember where your vision is,
Yeah.
and never give up on it.
True.
Doesn't matter how long it's just gonna take. It can even just take the first 4 years doing something else before you learn in school. So keep applying every single day. Never forsake your dream. That's what I can say.
As I continue interviewing you, I realize that it may look on the outside that it is a self-made journey, or a journey of I did this or I got myself here. I am one big big believer of community.
Yes.
I am a big believer of networking, and I'm a big believer of I cannot do this alone.
Yes.
I really, really can't. And we talked about mental health.
Yes.
However, it's someone you know, because we're even seated here because of a mutual friend.
Yeah, exactly,
literally.
exactly.
Because of
Literally,
someone.
yeah,
Yeah, because I told him,
exactly.
I talk about, it's very, we've been told, hide your dreams, don't talk about them. But the reason why people need to hide their dreams is because maybe the circle they're in is the wrong one.
Yes.
But if you're in the right circle, you're able to talk about the things that you want to do, and the people will give you ideas. Have you tried this? Have you tried this? You literally even right now try to tell me about printing of books because you've done
Yes.
7 times better than I
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
I'm an author, by the way. We have so much in common. An author, a teacher. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful brains.
We will talk about others maybe outside this place. Okay, let's just continue. Let's continue.
So my question is, do you think, what is your take on community and how have you navigated it in a strange land?
Okay.
Because that's a whole other layer.
Okay.
Networking at home is home,
Yes.
but here you're in a new land,
Yes.
you're in a new country, different languages, different backgrounds. What do you take for community and networking?
First of all, let me just echo what we used to say right in primary, that no man is an island.
Good.
You cannot do everything alone. Sometimes you need somebody just to push you, even when you feel like, man, I cannot do this alone.
Yeah.
But just before I talk about the community here, let me just talk a little bit about community back in the country now. I just
Okay.
got here before I just talk about what happened here. I've always said several times that I've always just been talking about my story, and I shared a little bit about it. And actually, for those who just want to maybe to read fully about my story, there's one of my books. It's called The Bird from the Rocks.
Okay.
So I was just trying to refer myself to the bird from the rocks. You know, the bird is a small plant, maybe barely 1 week, that is growing out of the rocks. You know, before a plant, a plant needs water to grow, a plant needs soil to grow, but none of those exist in rocks actually. There's no soil, no water. But still, nevertheless, you can maybe, in a rare case, you will still see a bird growing out of the rocks actually. So that's what I just call
Wow.
the bird from the rocks. Just to talk about myself,
Okay.
that's my autobiography. It's my memoirs of a village boy. So just growing in the village, it was not easy. That's never been easy. But thank God to the power of community. I feel like I'm just forced to talk about, maybe to answer a question you didn't ask, but if you could just allow
It's
me to
alright.
talk about it,
Yeah.
maybe just in a nutshell, it answers the question that you were asking. So I grew up in a village, and when I was a small boy, actually about 7 years old, I lost my father. So
Sorry about
yeah,
that.
yeah. But just I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm okay. So when I lost my father, it was very hard not even to navigate through school. It was very hard maybe just to see a future coming. And it was not just about losing a father, but also losing, like, literally just life, because there was no,
That's the breadwinner.
yeah, that's the breadwinner. So there is no hope. There is no more school. Actually, and even during that time when I lost my father, even we lost all our houses, actually, literally all our houses. So there was all of ashes maybe at home. A story for another day. But
That's
this
so
very
sad.
same night, my father died. All our houses were gone. All our maybe livestock were gone. Everything that was just around the vicinity of our home was just clean and ravened into ashes. So everything
Is
was
it a
gone.
fire that happened?
Yeah, just a fire happened. Actually, it was just caused deliberately by some people. So livestock, crops, anything that was in the house, a father, and everything. You could just literally just everything was just gone. So like the first phase, I could just say maybe that generation was entirely just raised out. Actually, nothing was left. So it was a time for a new start. But where do you start as a young boy? My firstborn. So it means like.
In a family of how many?
In a family of 4. We are 4 siblings, actually. We are 4 of us. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. So I have 2 sisters and a brother. And also now my mother.
Now we have another thing in common.
I want to talk about one later after this. So when that happened, actually, actually, I said, okay, life must continue, but how is it going to continue in the first place?
And you're 7 years old.
7 years old. So how am I going to go to school? Where am I going to be slaving? Where do I start? Where do we get food? Where do we get any, like, there was nothing. No seat, no chair, nothing
Yeah.
actually that was in the court. And I told myself, man, I surrender fully to God. Yes, God, let your will be done. I just surrender fully to yourself. And I said, if I'm not disciplined, I'll lose myself. So I told myself, I gotta be disciplined and seriously follow God. So I went back to school. I was just in grade 4 there, and I just went back to school. And I think by that time I was the only one who was at least going to school because my other siblings were too young even just
Too
to go to
young.
school. Yeah. So I went back to school, and like there was just kind of nothing. But the good thing, maybe the teachers, of course, understood because actually my primary school where I studied is about 3 minutes away from
From
my home. Yeah,
home.
actually. So we share we call the perimeter wall with the school actually. So they understood what had happened. So they were so kind to me. So they allowed me to study without even just asking me for some money, some requirements. However, it was that so tight and so bad. So first of all, going forward, I didn't have a place like just to call home where to lay my head. I was laying head in maybe neighbors' places. So that is the power of community. Now I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah.
So I went grade 5, grade 6, and then I went to grade 8. You know, we in Kenya we do what we call the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education.
Yeah.
I did my exams, and of course I got good marks, over 300 marks, and I was called to some good schools, but the Kizi School and all those kind of schools there. But still, I couldn't just go because I didn't have the money. So I just went to a local high school in my village. Actually, I was just walking there. So someday I'll just take you there, and you just get to see. So after that. Now it was time to go to the university now. God was gracious, of
You
course.
still made it to uni. Okay.
Yes, I had very good grades actually. It was amazing. I'll just talk about that one later, but that was amazing, excellent grades actually. I was just called to KU. I went to KU, but now here I have to. I cannot be in the village anymore. Nobody knows me in Nairobi. I still need accommodation. I just need maybe to pay school fee, and yes, I need to do a lot of stuff. And I was just asking myself, what do I have to do? Do you know what happened? The community just came together. Actually, the people from my community just came together. They just said, "Maybe this guy is not giving up. This young man has refused to give up. This young man is not sitting down. He's becoming hotter with time because we told maybe the dream could have just gone, but this man is he's just trying to excel. In the primary exams, I did well. I went to Form 4. I did well. Now I was just been called to
Against
university.
all odds.
Against all the odds. And now the people say, "No, man. Even if we were to ignore this young man, we can't.
We
do
can't.
this. We can't do this
We
because
can't.
it's just he just want to achieve something. Actually, the villagers came together. They just did some a small contribution that went to the university, and then now when I was in the university, that is why something so big just came about. I just talked about my uncle. I said an uncle of mine who sits in the US. Actually, when I was I immediately just joined my first year in the university. He just called me right from the US and started to explain to me, I overheard what happened maybe in your family, maybe about 15 years ago. I'm so shocked that you actually grew out of that bad because he had been stayed in the US, so he didn't even just know what had happened. It was the last time that he heard, our houses were raised down and everything. So some people had actually forgotten about me until I showed up, until the bad showed up from the rocks. So that's why now I wrote the book saying the bad from the rocks. So now when they just saw so there was a seed buried, and we've been walking on these rocks. So man.
I'm speechless.
I'm
speechless
no,
because
just don't be worried. Just smile.
I'm speechless because
yeah.
nobody is really coming to rescue you.
Yeah.
And you have to fight so hard for your dreams
I
because
tell you that.
most of the time, and
that.
I think there's a statement I wanted to say, and I
Yes,
think it
please.
escaped me. It's
Yes.
that the truth is that most people are saying that you're good, your job will market you, but you have to put in the work for it to be shown. Because
my God.
even your own people, you're saying your own uncle was
Yes,
you did make it out. People
yeah.
really
Yeah.
don't, because they're going on with their life. It's not even that they're
exactly,
evil.
Exactly.
It's not that they're
Well,
evil.
They're good, but only that maybe there are several things people have to think about.
Yeah.
So unless you are disciplined enough and you
To keep up showing for yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now I'm gonna say, oh my God, I didn't know that the seed has been. I didn't know that this has been happening. I said,
Very interesting.
man, don't be worried.
Yeah.
Tell me anything you just need me to do for you to be able to finish your university studies. And actually, the other same uncle, before he left recently, about 1 year ago, he relocated from here to the US.
Oh.
He's a US citizen, but he used to do some business here. So he told me, I even want you now to, after you finish your studies, after you get your degree in education, actually just want you to come and study in the UAE. So in fact, that's how now the journey of community, maybe the community thing just came up.
I like that I asked that question. That literally
No,
told
it was
your
amazing. I just loved it. Maybe
you literally
you're
told
a
your whole
prophetess.
story.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was
Yeah,
actually. Now that's how about the
beautiful.
community just came about.
Yeah.
I also feel like if maybe the issue of community wasn't there, maybe I could have maybe
You wouldn't be
lost. Yeah,
here.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
here. So now so that same uncle just gonna he's called Uncle Uncle Isaiah Morias Maye. So he told me, like, just brought me here, showed me around. I moved around. I got, of course, my first job was not teaching, actually. For the first year in 2022, I worked as somebody who was writing, just doing all types of writing. That's why, of course, I'm good in writing. I was just writing all the kind of assignment, anything that has to do with writing for some people, for some in some training institute here in Dubai. Then after that, I got my
You
way.
started big as we were writing with those online writing jobs. So
Yeah,
we thank God for you.
yeah,
We thank God for
exactly.
you. See?
Actually, we thank God for that. So out of that, maybe the community thing, agreeing that you cannot be on an island, just agreeing to meet different people, and of course, as you said, for example, we are here cut off somebody else. CEO Weekly, I've just met us just to meet, and he's a very great guy. Actually,
Yeah.
he's guided me all through. So when I was okay. We also have another common story with CEO Weekly. We shall share that one later. Maybe next time I might bring
have
him
a
on this
common-
way. Yeah, exactly.
He's
So,
supposed to come on. Yeah.
he will be coming here, actually.
Yeah.
I'll just tag him. Next time, I'm just going to tell him just to come in over here. So he's a very great guy. He meant that when I was also here. So kept on applying, went to school. Right now I'm teaching.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching here and I'm loving it.
And you also do things to help other people, because there's a day that CEO Wycliffe had posted that you were looking for a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were
Exactly,
trying to, because you see
exactly.
opportunities and you want to push people into
Yeah,
those opportunities,
yeah,
which is now,
exactly.
it's called paying forward.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called paying forward. So I'm really proud of you.
Every time I do see, let's say, for example, in my institution, for example, of course, it doesn't happen every single day, and it doesn't mean that when I refer somebody, they can't be chosen. But at least I feel like I should just do something.
Try.
So when I see them, maybe say like, oh well, we need a teacher of English, or maybe we just need a geography teacher. So what I do, I just try to ask around, even without consulting the HR. I just try to ask around my circle.
Yeah.
Is there somebody
Who's
who
looking
has
for a
this kind of
job?
qualification? So what I do,
Yeah.
I take the CV and I personally just maybe even in WhatsApp, just text my HR and tell, okay, see if this could be a good hire. So I don't know what maybe the HR can decide to do, but at least there are some.
You've
people
done
who-
your
yeah,
part.
exactly.
You've
So
done
that's what
your
I
part.
that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the point of community, also the point of representation.
Yes.
When I talk about representation,
Yes.
which is when you asked me why I do what I do, and
Yes.
I wanted to tell you, I told you that I want to show people how good life gets.
Yes.
And the truth is, we have to see it.
Yes.
Sometimes we have to see it to believe it.
Yes.
Think about a village boy,
Yes.
like your age right now,
yes,
that
yes.
when you were 7 years old.
Yes.
Think about him seeing Mokaya on
Yes.
a podcast
Yes.
in Dubai. Even right now in my head, I am like mind blown. So they're like, okay, so it is possible.
Yeah,
so what
sure.
you've planted
Yes.
in that 7-year-old is hope.
Yeah, exactly.
And most people don't die because
yes,
life has happened. They die
Yes.
because of lack of hope.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're doing for people is
Yes.
giving them the gift of hope.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
giving people that it's doable. I have done it. You
Yes.
can do it.
Yes.
And also you're doing something that most people forget.
Yes.
Is to give credit to the people that
Who have
have
really
helped.
helped you.
Yeah.
And throughout that journey,
Mm-hmm.
as I've told you, I think when I was trying to explain the story, you felt like, oh, well, because most people know Prof as an author and as a teacher.
Yeah.
Nobody
It sounds
knows.
very fancy
Nobody
and
understands
yeah,
the
yeah.
bloopers. Nobody understands what has just taken place behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Now that's what has happened behind the scenes. And to anybody seated anywhere, maybe just feeling my story is too painful.
Yeah.
I cannot make it. Some people have already maybe freaked out. Maybe they don't believe that something good can just happen.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, your story is already more beautiful than mine where you are. It is already beautiful than mine is actually.
Okay.
And if I've been just able to rise to the world podium, just like my sis here, you too can. And actually, as a way of just trying to talk to you, even when you cannot meet me, that's why I've just tried to write different books. Actually, I've just written about 7 of them.
Yeah.
And I just chose maybe the wall of motivation. I've just chose to motivate people.
Yeah.
I just chose to motivate people. Just tell them if anything
you can do it,
if
anybody can do it,
and there's
yes.
nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
So you can break protocols, breaking protocol. One of actually, can I mention some of my titles?
Yes, please.
Okay, if I can.
Yeah.
So one of the titles Now with you now, after you have understood my story, if I mention a title, you can easily relate.
It
now.
makes
For example,
sense. It does make
I've
sense.
written now breaking protocols.
Breaking protocols.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
Because
even when things look like they cannot work, they can God can sometimes break protocols. I mean, if you are can you just imagine a small boy without, leave alone even just forget about the dream of maybe rising to the world podium.
Level. It's just survival at this point.
Just at that point, survival was
just
important.
survival.
Survival was just important. Then God said, okay.
You're not only going to survive.
Not only survive.
You're going to thrive.
You are not going to survive. After surviving, something just bigger is just going to come. So I just wrote breaking protocols. Another one, of course, an autobiography. I talked about the bird from the rocks. I wrote another one, wait upon the Lord. Whatever that I believed when I was 7 years old is manifesting now. It's already manifested. So whatever that you believe or something that you've always just wished that you can just achieve, and it is taking longer, just keep waiting, just gonna happen. Then I've written another book that says man's extremity is God's opportunity. When it is impossible for you, God says, I mean, that is the easiest for me.
Can I jump in and say
can I jump in?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Is that all you could do? Maybe you say yes. God says, okay, thank you. Let me do the rest.
Now let me do the rest.
Yeah,
There's something you said about surrender.
Yes.
I know that's not what you thought at 7 years old.
Yes, exactly.
But I have learned about surrender literally 2 months ago.
Yes.
Because sometimes I usually feel like I have to control everything.
Yes.
But when you say man's extremity is God's, it's like, now I'm done. And I've seen God when everything,
God,
like when I'm like, okay, God, I can't do this anymore. It's like, okay, I was waiting for you. Now here I come and shine. So nobody else takes the glory apart from me, who is God. Like God takes the glory.
Amen.
Even in like situations where like visa is expiring, life is about to happen, and at that point, God is like, okay, come here, I got you.
So when you get to the edge and you feel like beyond this, I'm gonna fall into this deep pit and die. God said, no, you're not going to die.
I'm
here. I just got you. Just come to me.
And
then I wrote another one, of course, that it's not here. I actually didn't carry my copies actually, but some are in the office. And
you will tell us at the end where you can get them.
There's another one that just says. Now, the most interesting, the last two, those are the latest titles that I wrote. One is The End is Just But the Beginning. The end is just.
I think that's my favorite.
Exactly. The
I relate to it in this season.
Exactly. The end is just but the beginning. Many times, of course, most of us just feel like, no, this is the end.
This is it. Yeah.
Even maybe at workplace, you just feel like maybe you just, people keep you just see like just the way things are going. Maybe the new HR has come and maybe the way
they just don't like your face.
Nobody just likes your face. And you say, man, I'll not survive. I'll not survive this academic year. They'll not send me home. What looks like the end of your life could just be like the beginning.
I wish you knew how much I relate to that right now.
Thank you. And I'm so happy if I can just, if I'm able to touch somebody actually, if my story can touch somebody and they can confess that way, then I tell God.
No, I do relate to it more than you can imagine.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You want to tell me later how the one later. And then another one, the last one, which I'm just trying to talk to the world, says, it is just a replay.
Ooh.
It is just a replay.
Tell us more.
Thank you. So for those who like or love football, or maybe I can just try to put it in context. Let's say, for example, you're watching a match, and by the way, do you have a favorite team that you're supporting? Maybe do you love football?
I wonder why you guys like foot. That's controversial. I don't like football. Why are big men running after a ball?
Okay.
Why are you guys doing
Okay.
And why are these other people sitting here looking at them like their lives depend on it?
Exactly.
Okay, guys, I'm
football.
sorry.
Okay, football is mostly for men anyway. Okay, so when you're watching maybe football, and the team that you're supporting with all your blood, actually men are so loyal to their teams, man. Men are so loyal to their teams.
We should borrow that loyalty into relationships. Please, guys.
I saw that quote somewhere, maybe. I mean, they're listening. Yeah. Maybe you can transfer the same loyalty that you have to your team.
Just even a quarter of it.
Yeah, exactly. Just pour in your relationship, and then things are going to work out. So maybe when you're watching your football team play, and in the first half, your team concedes 3-0, for example. And it's a very important match, for example, let's say maybe a quarter final, actually, maybe semi-finals. So from there, if you win that match, you are going to the finals. It's a very important match. And then in the first half, you concede 3-0. I mean, if you're a staunch supporter of that specific team, you might even, some people, I've seen people crack their TVs, actually, they smash their TVs, or even they just walk out of that room. Maybe you might not want to watch the pain of watching that match to the end, because if you've already considered 3 goals in the first half, you expect more beating in the second half. So you already give up, right?
Yeah.
So
I like where this is going.
Okay, let me just keep it.
I'm a sportswoman.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like football, but I'm a sportswoman.
Okay. Now, in the second half, things always just change up. That's not even a miracle. Things can change up. Now, your team comes from behind to score 4 against now the team. Actually, now, so it ended up to be 4-3 now. 4-3 minutes now, you are winning now. Actually, at the end of, because actually 90 minutes determines the end of the match. So it doesn't matter that they scored first. If they scored 3 in the first half, then you score 4 in the second half, then you could have, at the end of the day, that match is going to end with you being the winners. Those who seemed like losers in the first half, right?
Okay.
Now, let me tell you, even if that match ends like that, of course, at the end of the day, you end up winning. I mean, you could have watched that match with a lot of pain, because you really don't believe, like, until maybe that match ends. You every minute of you watching that match will be very painful, until, because you don't believe, like, you would win, because maybe if people were able to score maybe 4-0, maybe against you the first half, they're likely maybe to score maybe 2 more goals. Maybe you still don't believe you are going to win that match up to the end of that match. But whichever the way, nevertheless, that painful match that you're watching ends with you being victorious, right? Now, let me ask you. So it means when you're watching that game for the very first time, you watch it with a lot of anxiety. You really don't believe you're going to win.
You're seated at the edge of the seat. What is going to happen? What is going to happen?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you. Assuming that, of course, all those matches are recorded, actually.
Yeah.
So imagine you're watching the same match now.
After.
Maybe 3 months later, right? So if, for example, in the first half, you see your team conceding 3 goals, right? You're not going to be feeling anything bad, because you know what will happen in the second half. You know what? You know exactly.
I even call people to come and watch with me. Come see how good this gets.
Exactly. Even when you are conceding, actually, even when you concede the first goal, the second goal, you are comfortable telling people, no, don't worry.
Relax.
Just come and see with me. Just watch this thing. Why? Because it's a replay. You understand the script already. You know how it's going to end. So when it's a replay, you don't have to be worried about anything. Lose all the anxieties. Be comfortable. Relax. Keep going, because it's just a replay.
Yeah.
There is nothing so serious that we face in life that is so new. Everything
Does that come from the Bible? Does that come from your spirituality? Because
it comes from everything. That's just a great combination. Of course, I do a lot of research. I'll just tell you about it.
Yeah.
To write, it takes a lot of research. This is from the Bible, actually. This is just from experience. This is just from some other writings and those kind of. We just want to just combine these. I do tell people, it is just a replay. Do you know what? Even when you lose a loved one, for example, you lose your father, it can be so painful, but you know what? It will be okay. Things will be okay. Yeah. You will afford a smile again, because you know why? It's just a replay. I mean,
just have to do your part.
Yeah, though. Exactly. For example, when you just go to your workplace and people are looking down upon you, they don't want to see you. They're saying bad things about you. I mean, don't be worried. It's just a replay. I mean, we already have such a script that has been already played in the past.
And in the end, I am victorious.
Exactly.
If you think like that, then you
several such bad circumstances have already happened, and the end of it has only just been victory. Nothing will weigh you down.
I have succeeded 100% of the things that that have been thrown at me.
Exactly. Nothing
has destroyed me.
Exactly. Nothing will destroy you. And there's nothing that human beings do face that is so new, my friends.
Yeah.
Everything that you are facing right now is just a replay. Even when somebody just is threatening maybe just to eliminate you, not just worry, it will be okay. They'll not eliminate you. It's just a replay. It will just end well. It shall be well with you. Don't be worried. Anything that is just going to happen, however how hard it looks, it's not the original game, actually. It's not just start with you.
I like that
book. It's just a replay.
Yeah.
You're just going to see it as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Is that the last book?
That's the latest book that
So I think I have 2 favorites now.
Yes.
I won't ask you to choose between your favorite books. I will do it for you.
You'll do it for yourself.
I'll do it for you. Right now, it's the end is just the beginning, and it's just a replay, which I haven't read. I will look at it.
Yes.
So I think we've been talking for a long time.
Yes.
So your parting shot.
Yes.
And also tell us where we can find your books, and also tell us if you're on social media and what you call yourself on social media, and how we can find you.
Thank you so much for everybody who's been watching these. I think I started from the other side. most people maybe start by building their social media before they start maybe doing something.
Boiling the content.
So with me, I started maybe building something, then just coming to the place where maybe I can just be able maybe to build my social medias. However, I'm in TikTok, and more in TikTok, I've just tried to post some of my messages, and
I'll help you with the social media.
oh, actually, I surrendered that to you. I've surrendered that one to you. After this, you're just gonna tell me how I can just get to
I
those
promise,
social media handles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if anybody just wanna get my books, at least just go to Amazon.com and just type in my name, Professor Mokaya Edwin.
Yeah.
All my 7 books.
We'll
will just
put it
be
on the
spread.
link.
Exactly.
We'll put it on the link on the bio,
Just,
yeah.
just tell them
Yeah.
that. So when you just put all my link, actually, I just put a link tree there with
Yeah.
the show all the books. So
Yeah.
when you show up, maybe just when you just type that one on Amazon, or we can just give them a direct link.
Yeah.
They just be able to access all the books that we have.
Link in bio.
Yeah, exactly. And then we already have a lot of copies. Like you can see them
Yes,
here.
yes,
Here
yes,
for
yes,
anybody
yes.
who's in the UAE or in Kenya. And you might want maybe a physical copy, an autographed copy. You can always just reach out to us. We're going to also provide the phone number, maybe
Yeah.
through which they can just be able to get through us, and then they can just be able to get an auto-signed copy. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's it for episode 4. I said episode 4. That is mind-blowing to me. I am super, super grateful for all of you who have been subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, leaving all the love that you have on this podcast. I'm also so grateful to our guests because he's poured out his heart, he's poured out his soul, and I hope you go on Amazon and buy his books. I hope you tune in every single Sunday. This is going to be a Sunday episode. Every single Sunday we're going to have an episode. Inshallah, God willing, we have an episode every single Sunday. Till next time, stay irresistible, stay abundant. Love ya.